Right, some of you may be excited to be away from equations and numbers and trying to problem solve. Well, we're still going to be problem solving, but being away from solving for x for a while and look at geometry. But when we look at this geometry, I'm going to be going through a bunch of, we're not going to have to take notes because I've printed out notes, but I'm going to give you a lot of definitions. And I hope it will not be too bad. The first couple I think that you should know, and that is acute angle. An acute angle, remember, is less than 90. Obtuse angle is more than 90, or it's more than 90 but less than 180. And then you have a right angle, which is a perfect L, and it's exactly 90 degrees. Sometimes it tells you a right angle because it puts a box in there. And I tend to call this a straight line, but sometimes they call it a straight angle too. So just be prepared that it's called both. Okay, so now that should be just a quick review. I feel sure most of you remember that. All right, now if I take two intersecting lines, and I got to put this purple pen up because it's about dead. Two intersecting lines. What happens is when we look at where they intersect, if I call this angle A and angle B, we say that angle A and angle B are congruent, and congruent means they're equal. And the reason why we know this is because of vertical angles, okay? So angle A and B would be vertical. And then if I put a heart here and a heart here, these two are also vertical angles. So two angles across from each other are vertical angles, and they're going to be equal. So that's not too bad. Now, these two angles that are side by side, they are called adjacent. And adjacent just means that they share a side. So adjacent is just side by side. Okay? So now we go back to what we were just talking about. And I hope we remember that this is a right angle. I'm going to put a little box, and that lets us know for sure that it's a right angle. Now, if I cut or make another angle, remember these two angles are adjacent because they're side by side. Now, if I tell you that this angle is 20 degrees, I hope that you can problem solve and figure out how we can figure out this angle, the missing angle. We should know that both of these together, if this is a right angle, it has to equal 90. So 90, if we take away 20, we're left with 70. So that means that this angle has to be 70 degrees because 70 and 20 equal 90. Now the fancy name for that is complementary. Complementary. So complementary angles together equal 90 degrees. Okay? Now, if we have a straight line, you know, straight lines equal 180 degrees. And let's say I tell you that this is 60 degrees. Then you should be able to figure out this one because this plus this together has to equal 180. So we would take that 180 and subtract 60, and that would let us know that this angle would be 120. And the fancy name for that is supplementary. Okay, these two angles are supplementary. Now, I think about complementary and supplementary. Complementary is your perfect L, that's 90. Supplementary, I think about supplementary starts with S, and so does straight line. So then I can remember supplementary is 180, a straight line, and complementary is 90. Okay? So we've talked about our vertical angles, complementary, supplementary, adjacent. We've already talked about a bunch, and we're going to add on some more. Now, if I have these two lines, I'm trying to draw parallel lines, which means these two will never touch. Now, if I take a set of parallel lines and I slash a line through it, okay, so I just drew a line straight through, this is called a transversal. Now, when we have a transversal, that's going to make a lot of more definitions for us, okay? So hopefully, stay with me. I know this is a lot being thrown at you. We know that these two are vertical. So if I tell you up front that this is 50, you also know that this is 50 because these two are vertical angles. Okay, so now we've got that down pat. Now, if we think about it, if I cover this up, you should notice that this is a straight line, and we know that straight lines have to equal 180. So if you say 180 minus 50, you're going to get 130. So now that we know that these two are vertical, so this also has to equal 130. Now if you think about it, if I covered this up, we've still got a straight line, that equals 180. We got another straight line, that equals 180. And then we got another straight line over here, and that equals 180. Okay, so now we fixed our top. Now here's where our two new definitions come in. Now, alternate interior. When you think about the interior of your house, maybe you think about an interior decorator. That's somebody that decorates the inside. So we're going to think about the inside of your house would be in here. So an interior are going to be 1, 2, 3. These 4 angles are the interior because they're on the inside. Now, alternate interior means to go across that transversal. So if this is 50, if you jump across, then this has to also be 50. Now, there's two ways we can get this angle. We can do alternate interior. Remember, alternate, jump across and stay on the inside. So 130. Or we can think about these two are supplementary. Together they make a straight line. And again, you may have to watch this video a couple times because I know I'm throwing a lot at you. Now, you can also have alternate interior, or the inside, and we can also have alternate exterior. You think about the exterior of your house is where the trees and the bushes and all that kind of stuff are. So alternate exterior means you're going to jump across and stay on the outside. So jump across, stay on the outside. So this has to be 130. Or also, if you remember, we talked about vertical angles. So vertical angles, remember, they're across from each other. So we know that they have to be 130. So we got lots of different definitions going on here. Now we can think about these two are vertical, or we can think about alternate exterior. Stay on the outside and jump across that transversal. This is going to be 50. So we've got a lot of definitions going on. So let's just do one more real quickly. Okay, let's say that I tell you that this is 40. Then you're going to have to take that one measure, and from that one measure, determine all of these other measures. Okay? So you're going to have a lot of blank shapes like this, and you're going to have to fill them in. So we know that these two are vertical. So we know this has to be 40. We know that these two make a straight line, and straight lines have to equal 180. So we know that this is 140, because that equals 180. These two are vertical, so this is 140. Now remember, alternate interior means jump across and stay on the inside. Alternate interior. And then alternate interior again. Jump across and stay on the inside. Then we have alternate exterior. So you're on the outside and you stay on the outside and jump across. So here's 140. And you can also think about 140. These 140s are vertical. So we got lots going on here. And alternate exterior, jump across and stay on the outside. So that's how we do alternate exterior, alternate interior, and then we have vertical. So again, after this video, your notes, you've got a whole page of notes where I've typed them out for you, and I've tried to make a sketch. And if you have any questions, again, always email me and we can do a Google Meet or whatever we need to do.